Today we're going to be talking about my #1 tip for when you graduate 68 Whiskey Combat Medic AIT. But without further ado, let's get to it. Alright, what is up guys? So like I just said, we're going to be talking about my #1 personal opinion tip on things that you should be doing after you graduate 68 Whiskey Combat Medic AIT. Before we get into the topic of the video guys, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Ben Allen. I did 4 years active duty. I've done currently a year and a half in the reserves after my active duty time. And so if you have any questions pertaining to active duty or the reserves, hit me up on my Instagram at Ben_Allen175. It's the best possible place to reach me. Like, comment, and subscribe guys. Subscribe. It really helps us out for all your 68 Whiskey content needs, you know, army needs, basic training needs. This channel provides it, so I'd greatly appreciate the subscribe. It helps us out, helps us grow. With all that out of the way, so my #1 tip for AIT, right? So you're gonna go through AIT, you're gonna learn all this stuff, right? You're gonna go through all skills, you're gonna go through EMT phase, whiskey phase, camp bullets, all of that fun stuff, right? It's all this learning jam-packed into, like, you know, 6 weeks or 7 weeks for EMT phase, and then so on and so forth. I believe it's 16, 18 weeks total. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's been like a while since I went through it, but Delta Dragons, also shout out if you guys are in here watching. That was my company as well. But again, you're going to be learning all this stuff, right? You're going to be going through, and you're most of the time you're just learning it to like pass the test, and you're brain dumping it, right? You're just kind of like, all right, cool, I passed. I can forget this shit. Like it's whatever, right? I know I did that personally. Probably not the best move on my part, but you know, you got to pass AIT. You don't want to be reclassed. You don't want to be recycled, because one, it's embarrassing. Two, you might get stuck with the job you don't want to do, right? I know that was my fear. That's what pushed me to study super hard and pass everything on the first try. That way I wouldn't have to retest or have that anxiety or just come up short and possibly fail and get recycled, and then if they fail again, get reclassed. Or if you fail the NREMT 3 times, you know, you're gonna get reclassed. It happened to a lot of my friends. Pretty shitty, honestly. You don't want that to happen to yourselves. So once you pass AIT, right, and if you guys want videos talking about like study tips for AIT, let me know. I'll make a bunch more 68 Whiskey AIT videos for while you're currently there. But this is for when you're getting out, right? Whether you're going to your first active duty station, or you know, you're going to reserve or National Guard units, right? And this is something I wish I would have done a little more. I waited too long in my career to do this, but it's continue to study on your own, guys. And I know that sounds like, oh, dude, I don't want to study. I'm at my unit. I'm supposed to be like, you know, freedom, all that shit, right? But if you want to be a good medic, or at least a decent medic, right, you have to keep up with those skills, because chances are you may not have like leadership that is fully invested in your career progression as a medic or just as a soldier in general. So they're not really gonna be there to like teach you new things, you know, medically, that is, right? Because say you get attached to a line unit, right, whether you're with the infantry or the scouts or the tankers or the mortar, whatever it may be, right, it's typically just gonna be you. And if you're the senior line medic, maybe you have a few junior medics under you, or you know, maybe you're with like a scout platoon. They only need 1 medic, really. So you know, you're the only medic there, and you have like a group of like, you know, maybe 30 people if you're in like a platoon, 20 some people. If you're in a company, usually it'll be like, you know, 2 or 3 medics in the company for like the platoons and shit. But if you're the solo medic, right, you're going to be expected to know these things. What if your guy comes up to you with, you know, some sort of injury that you don't remember how to treat because it's been so long since you've done like any practice on it, like an AIT? Because I remember going to my unit, we really didn't get taught a whole lot of medical stuff after AIT. We really had to remember all that shit, right? And if we didn't remember, what me and my buddy did, we'd go back through our old AIT books. You know, hey, you know, the limited primary care, right? The field craft books that they give you, the emergency care books that they give you. That's my #1 tip, guys, is to continue to study from those books. And if not those books, seek out a mentor that is willing to teach you and give you their own personal experiences and continuing to better you as a medic, you know, building off your medical knowledge and just, you know, quiz quizzing you and keeping you fresh pretty much, because all the stuff you learn in AIT are perishable skills. And if you don't know what a perishable skill means, it's pretty much, to me anyway, it's if you don't practice it, you're gonna forget it, or it's gonna be like kind of just lost in the memory. It's gonna be like a vague little like memory that you have in there, like you remember some steps of the skill, but you don't remember all the steps. And missing a step on certain life-saving skills, it could be detrimental, right? It could cost somebody their life, right? And you don't want to have that happen. You want to be on your game. You want to be on the ball. You want to have that memory easily accessible. That way, when you're treating a casualty, whether it's simulated and or it's a minor injury or it's a full-on trauma patient, that you know what to do when the time comes. Because I promise you, if you just graduate AIT, you never hit those books again, or you don't have a leadership or mentors in your direct chain of command that are willing to teach you, right? You have to seek out that information on your own. I know it sucks, right? You'd think that you're gonna have people teaching you, and it isn't always the case that you're gonna have people not teaching you. You could have really, really good leadership that are constantly doing like sergeant's time training. They're doing hip pocket training, teaching you, going over tourniquet drills, all that fun stuff, right? So I know it may sound boring, right? I know it may sound like, oh, I'm done with AIT, whatever, I don't want to do this shit anymore, like I'm a medic now, I know what to do, right? But chances are you're going to get presented with a real life injury and you're going to be like, yo, what are the steps again? What do I do? And then that goes for, the stuff that you learned in AIT, but there's going to be a broader spectrum out there of things that they really didn't cover in AIT that you're going to come, right? Like, yeah, they go over like STDs, right? For example, if you're attached to the infantry or, just any type, soldiers get wild, right? They may not make the smartest decisions when it comes to their partners. I say partners loosely, and they're gonna come to you like, hey doc, it's burning when I pee, or it's this, that, and the other, right? Like, what are you gonna do, right? Like, how are you gonna treat it? Like, I mean, obviously you're really not gonna do a whole lot. You're gonna screen them up at sick call maybe, and the PA is gonna prescribe what they need. But some PAs are very hands-on. They're like, okay, what would you do? What would you prescribe? And our first PA, he was just real like matter of fact. He was like, you don't know this, bro? You're freaking stupid. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, nobody taught me this, so I guess I'm stupid, right? But later on, we got some dope PAs that would have classes for us. They would, like, every Thursday or Wednesday, I believe, they would hold classes. We'd make sure everybody was there paying attention. If they're on their phone, be like, yo, put that shit away. Like, I wish I had this as a private, a PA or somebody, in a higher echelon of medical care teaching us this next level stuff, right? Like chest tubes. They would actually put like stuff on the screen, like scenarios, and they would ask like certain individuals in the group, like, okay, what would you do? What do you think this is? And to be able to like go through it, and if they would get it wrong, they tell you why you're wrong, and they'd explain what is right and why it's right. And once you understand the why in a lot of things, it makes it a whole lot easier to understand, really. And that's just it, guys. If you feel like you're losing touch with your skills after you graduate AIT, Rehit the Books, right? Go to your Fieldcraft 1, 2, 3, whatever it may be. I got my hands on like the ALC 68 whiskey books that they give the sergeants that are getting ready to go to staff sergeant. I would study that when I was in Korea, because this is the first time I had like legit soldiers under me. I was like, all right, well, I gotta know this stuff in case they ask me about it, or if one of their guys, because we were in the infantry company, I was the senior line medic, they were my junior medics, and they were each attached to a platoon, right? I took first platoon as well as working with the first sergeant, just because we didn't have a medic for each platoon out of the three, four actually, so first, second, third, and then HHC. But I was like, okay, I got to be on the ball in case like something does happen. They don't know what to do. I have to know what to do. And so I would constantly be revisiting those books, even like for burn like chances are you're not going to get a whole lot of burn casualties, in today's army, but it's always a possibility, right? Or if you get cold weather injuries, heat cats. All those things are prevalent. If you go to NTC, JRTC, heat cats, they definitely happen, bro. South Korea, cold weather injuries, I had a few. If, you're in a hot environment, they could be going through heat exhaustion, heat cramps, heat stroke, right? You got to know the signs and symptoms for each one. You got to make sure you can, like, properly treat whatever's going on. Because if they're on the verge of heat stroke, you definitely want to get them out of there. You definitely want to know how to cool this person down and get them the help they need, right? Same thing with the cold weather injuries. There's a lot that goes into it, and then once you become a heat cat or a cold cat, you're more susceptible, right? Words are hard, to those injuries in the future. So you got to know your guys, and just same thing, like just really hit on all of those things, guys. They'll help you out. They'll definitely benefit you in your future, you know, career as a 68 whiskey. Whether you're in the Guard, reserves, active duty, it's very important to keep up with all this stuff. When you go out for research, you're doing table 8s again, definitely study, guys. Take everything they're teaching you, digest it, and make notes. Take notes, hit the notes up when you need to, and it'll overall make you a better medic because you'll be prepared should something come up. And that, personally, to me, is one of the big things you guys need to be hitting on whenever you graduate 68 Whiskey AIT, simply because you never know when you're going to need those skills, right? And you don't want to be caught with your pants down, not knowing what you need to know in order to help somebody, you know, medically. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys want more 68 Whiskey Combat Medic content, let me know. Drop it down in the comment section below. And yeah, I'll be sure to put out more videos like that if you guys really want it. Be sure to like again, be sure to comment, and most importantly, subscribe for more 68 Whiskey content, guys. Thank you all so much. If you have any questions, again, hit me up on my Instagram at Ben_Allen175. It's the best possible place to reach me. And with that being said, guys, I'll put some videos here on the screen. Definitely check them out. And yeah, thank you all so much for tuning in. I appreciate it, and I'll see you on the next one. Later.